I think we should start. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We are trying to start this conference. My name is Marius Alexa. I'm the director of Archipelago company. We are the company who, with support of our partners, organizing the trade mission in Western Balkans in this month, at the end of the month. So we'll visit Skopje, Podgorica, and Tirana. That's why we made some market research and discovered that there's a lot of, let's say, unknown facts about this area for Romanian entrepreneurs. That's why we thought that would be a good idea to organize this event, to promote the area, to encourage companies, entrepreneurs, and other organizations like universities to discover Western Balkans and to be a bridge and to support connections and collaborations and other projects between Romanian organizations and organizations from Albania, Montenegro, and North Macedonia. I would like to thank you to all the organizations and partners, especially authorities from all countries who support this project. And I would like to give the floor to Mr. Professor Tudor, who is the director of Balkan Studies from Alexandru Cuza University of Iași, who will be moderator of this meeting. Also, I have to mention that this meeting will be recorded and also broadcasted live on Facebook. Thank you for being here.
Thank you also, Marius. I congratulate you for the initiative. As you know, the Center for Balkan Studies, the Faculty of Economics and Business Administration, that is the creator of this center, is very appreciative to your initiatives in the area, to the series of initiatives that you are already implementing in Western Balkans. And of course, I thank you for inviting me as a moderator. Given the quality of the speakers and the quality of the audience, I think that this is going to be one of the easiest tasks I ever had in this capacity. It is my duty to remind you all about the fact that the Faculty of Economics and Business Administration has implemented 2 years ago a Center for Balkan Studies that is dedicated to supporting institutions and people from the area of Western Balkans and Romania to interconnect, to change ideas, to implement common projects, and also start all sorts of good initiatives that could help us do better things together. We share the point of view of Mr. Alexa that there is a big opportunity here and also a lot of work to do in order to let us know each other better. I will now go to presenting you our speakers, and of course, I'm honored, like always, to present you Her Excellency Mrs. Patricia Răduț, which is Minister Counselor at our embassy in Tirana. She is responsible with economic and trade section of the Romanian diplomatic mission in Albania. Mrs. Patricia Răduț has a vast expertise in the whole area and is also the main facilitator that allowed our university to have at this moment 2 valid comprehensive agreements with the University of Tirana and the University of Skopje from North Macedonia. So we do not just salute you, Mrs. Răduț, but we also thank you for your continuous support for our institution. I will now introduce you Mrs. Alida Fondi. Mrs. Alida Fondi is mentor for municipalities on project calls, and Mrs. Fondi proves to have also a large expertise in working with various financing programs from UNDP to GIZ, from European Commission to EuropeAid, and so on and so forth in the area. So once again, an expert in this online panel. I will go on by introducing to you our guest from Montenegro, which is Mrs. Ferida Mandic. Mrs. Ferida Mandic is the Chief Project Officer at a cluster that is called ICT Cortex, and she has also an important regional expertise to projects related to civil society and also central authorities. It is also my pleasure to salute for the first time Mr. Ilir Rembeci, who's the founder and the director of Regional Development Agency of Tirana. Mr. Rembeci has a long expertise as a senior economist involved in various projects dedicated to regional development, to research, entrepreneurship, small and medium enterprise development, and not only. I will follow the schedule that our organizers have proposed for us, and I will start by inviting Her Excellency Mrs. Patricia Răduț to address the first intervention, given the fact that she is also going to offer us an overall approach of the area, and then we'll go to the detailed presentation. So, Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Professor Gigi. I have the pleasure to say hello to everyone. Please, I saw that here are many, there are many Romanian companies. Do you think it's better to speak in English or Romanian for the Romanian companies?
I think English.
English? Okay.
I think it's up to you.
I don't know, maybe because I saw here a lot of Romanian companies, maybe it's better in Romanian for them to have all this overview clear. First, I want to congratulate you for organizing this conference. It's a very good idea. Taking consideration that in short time we will have another 3 very important events. Forum, one big forum, economic forum in Podgorica, in Tirana and Skopje. And we are interested to put face-to-face the Romanian companies with all these Balkanic countries, because I think the Balkans, West Balkans, have a very big potential, especially for Romania, which is neighborly. And taking consideration that we are a big country, we can be the strategic partner for these countries. So I will start to make an overview about Albanian economy, because this I know better than Montenegro and Macedonia, even if I'm accredited for these 2 countries, but now we speak more than Albania. I will speak in Romania because I make also a kind of guide of the country from Romanian investors and potential future business. Deci, să încep așa mai rapid cu comerțul exterior al Albaniei. Aș vrea să încep ca să vă faceți o idee, da? În principal, deci valoarea exporturilor albaneze, mă refer la 2021, finalul anului 2021, au fost în valoare de 369 de miliarde de lek, ceea ce înseamnă în jur de 2 miliarde de euro, ceea ce trebuie tot timpul să ne referim, să înțelegem și dimensiunea țării, ceea ce este foarte bine. Și mai ales că exporturile albaneze au crescut cu 35%, ceea ce este un indicator foarte bun pentru Albania, da? Majoritatea exporturilor s-au dus în Uniunea Europeană. UE este principalul partener comercial al Albaniei. Dar din Albania, Italia este primul partener cu 26%, Spania, acum o să vedem cum o să se mai repoziționeze după evenimentele din Ucraina, pentru că Ucraina era și el un partener important al Albaniei. La exporturi era 14%, dar la importuri era destul de mare, în jur de 47%, în special ulei, făină, grâne, ce știm. Principalele grupe pentru la produsele pe care le exportă sunt materiale de construcții și metale, creștere 14%, minerabili, combustibili, electricitate, deci Albania este un importator de electricitate și carburanți, da? Materiale de construcții. Noi am putea să fim un foarte, foarte bun furnizor de materiale de construcții pentru Albania. Și când spun furnizor, mă refer începând cu geamuri termopane, cu tot felul de, nu știu eu să vă zic așa denumirile exacte, dar constructorii ei știu exact, că aici văd că sunt și firme din domeniul construcțiilor, iar noi avem de o calitate foarte bună materialele de construcții pe care chiar le producem în țară. Textile și încălțăminte, mă rog, așa. La ce exportă ei albanezii, într-adevăr, textile și încălțăminte, ei lucrează foarte mult în lon. Albania nu are o industrie, nu e o țară industrială. Ei au foarte mult și pe agricultură bazat, 20%, ceea ce iar ar putea să fie interesantă pentru România să achiziționăm legume și fructe de bună calitate, da? Ce să mai spun, sunt parte din toate organizațiile economice importante, OMC, CEFTA, sunt în curs de negociere pentru aderarea la Uniunea Europeană. Să vă dau niște cifre și strict pentru România. Comerțul bilateral România-Republica Albania a fost de 97, aproape 100 de milioane în anul 2021, din care exporturile au fost 66 de milioane, ceea ce reprezintă o creștere cu 22%. Dar și importul a crescut cu aproape 8% din Albania. Noi importăm materiale textile, lucrăm foarte mult. Avem 4-5 firme care lucrează în lon aici, aduc materialele deci pe textile, importăm metale, importăm produse ale regnului vegetal, da, uleiuri și tot ce ține de acest domeniu. Și de exportat, noi exportăm în principal din România combustibili, carburanți către Albania, produse ale industriei chimice. Produsele industriei chimice se referă la produse pentru agricultură, tot ce ține de îngrășăminte și acest domeniu.
Bună ziua!
Exportăm tot așa mașini. Eu mă bucur că Duster-ul este o mașină vizibilă în Albania și nu numai în Albania, în toate țările din Balcani în general, pentru că este o mașină accesibilă. Din păcate, între România și Albania încă nu avem investiții. Așteptăm ca firmele românești să aprindă curaj și să vină în Albania ca investitori, pentru că există foarte bune oportunități. Încă sunt foarte multe oportunități pentru firmele românești să facă afaceri în Albania. De asemenea, referindu-mă la turism, Albania are 450 de kilometri de coastă, au un litoral extraordinar. Deci, anul ăsta deja turiștii români, am avut deja autocare întregi de turiști români, este cald, deja se face plajă la Vlora, oamenii se duc la mare, e apa caldă, e o altă climă și raportul calitate-preț este foarte bun. La restaurante prețurile sunt extraordinare pentru buzunarul oricui. De asemenea, stabilitatea politică este în regulă, nu au existat în ultimii 15 ani probleme, ba din contră, actualul guvern, care este la al 3-lea mandat, ceea ce spune foarte multe, a creat un cadru legislativ și fiscal stabil. Se încearcă să existe cât mai multă transparență, ceea ce iar este foarte important pentru firmele care doresc să vină să investească sau să exporte, să desfășoare activități cu Albania, cu Macedonia, cu Muntenegru. Deja toate aceste țări și-au armonizat în mare parte legislația lor cu legislația Uniunii Europene și acesta este un punct foarte important. Aș vrea să las loc de întrebări, să mă întrebați, că poate eu vorbesc, dar poate nu e chiar ceea ce vă interesează. Aș prefera, dacă există întrebări punctuale, dacă cineva dorește să știe ceva anume, prefer să răspund mai punctual, așa, ca să fim mai aplicați.
Yeah, I saw a question in the chat that was addressed by Marius Dan /Tudor, and the question was referring to the fiscality, to the level of taxation in Albania. If you could offer some details, or maybe the guest from Albania.
Deci Albania, din punctul de vedere al fiscalității, zic eu că stă foarte bine în sensul că oferă facilități pentru investitori. Eu o să trimit organizatorilor niște materiale detaliate cu tot ce înseamnă fiscalitate, că nu pot să stau acum, dar vă trimit niște materiale și după dumneavoastră să le distribuiți mai departe ca să vadă exact cât este impozitul pe profit, ce facilități au dacă investesc atâta, dacă au atâția angajați, pentru câți ani sunt scutiți de anumite impozite, da? Și deci tot ce ține de fiscalitate o să vă trimit, plus și acel îndrumar de afaceri. Numai o secundă, da? Pe care eu l-am făcut, se găsește pe pagina Ministerului Antreprenoriatului, da? Și acest îndrumar de afaceri, eu l-am structurat, vorbesc despre sistemul politic, relația cu Uniunea Europeană, despre economia Albaniei, da? Și despre principalele domenii din energie, petrol și gaze, industria minieră, turism, da? Deci producție, agricultură, transport, porturi, așa. După care sunt foarte bine structurate constituirea societăților și reprezentanțelor comerciale, cu ce presupun ele, așa, sistemul de taxare și de comerț este pus aici, regimul de import, informații privind procedurile, vămuirea și documentele de import, bariere tarifare și achizițiile publice, programe destinate mediului de afaceri, și eu am să vă trimit toate acestea care cred eu că sunt utile pentru oamenii de afaceri, ca să înțeleagă mai bine mediul.
Okay. Maybe some other questions. Her Excellency is not going to stay with us till the end of our conference, given the fact that she has many other obligations to follow, to observe. So if there are some other questions, this is the proper moment. Well, if not, well, thank you very much, Your Excellency. We are looking forward to receive the document.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and see you soon. I wish you good work and good results.
Thank you so much. Mr. Alexa is thanking to you too. Okay, we remain in Albania. We have our colleagues from Tirana. I remind you the names and qualities. Mr. Ilir Rembetsi, Executive Director and Founder of the Regional Development Agency of Tirana, and Mrs. Alida Kondi, Mentor for Municipalities on Project Calls. We invite you to start your presentation.
So, Alida, you go first, and because you have more clear picture for the ideas, etc. I continue after you.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting us as speakers in the conference. I have prepared a presentation for this conference. If you want to share that, if you want me to share that, or I can continue by mentioning things. But just tell me if you want to share the screen, because I have prepared a presentation for this.
You should have the possibility.
I don't know. Okay, we can continue like this. It's okay. So I want to, again, as you present me, I'm Alida Condi, but I'd like to make this presentation on behalf of the organization Center for Competitiveness Promotion. We are the potential, let's say, coordinator for Enterprise Europe Network in Albania, because still the project is not running, but I'd like to let's say, to be in this conference under this status. So after Patricia mentioned a lot of things, even I do not understand Romanian, but at least I understood everything that she said concerning she gives a detail on export and import of Albania for the different on different product and different commodities. But I'd like to start with some macroeconomic data first. So Albania, you know, as in all the countries during 2020, has gone under zero on economic growth rate. But after this 2021, 2022, the economy is growing. And it is expected in January 2022 was something like 5.5% of the GDP growth, but we are expecting that during this year the economic growth rate to be something around 3%, as it is an estimation of the international organization. Some other macroeconomic data are unemployment rate is 11.9%. Population in Albania is 2.85 million, so that are within the country, but outside the country maybe you have to multiply that number. Employment rate is like 62.1%, and the youth unemployment rate is 20.6%. As also in the other countries in the region, that youth unemployment rate is higher than the other population. About the balance sheet, Albania has a negative balance sheet, but you know this gap is getting closer and closer. The export is something like 391 million euro, and import is 685 million euro. So always there is this negative balance. Foreign direct investment has been 302 million, and we have some remittances also from the immigrants that bring to the family. Remittances that enter in the country are evaluated to 222 million euro, and the tourist arrival is figures are 3.1 million. And also this year we are expecting that the flow of tourist arrival to be high. Corporate rate tax, because somebody is asking, there is one of the questions there. I want to mention that corporate tax rate is 15%. The personal income tax rate is 23%, but it's not. This is under a certain limit. You know, if you have up to a certain limit, because the personal income tax is 13%, but after a certain threshold, the threshold is 23%. VAT is 20% in Albania. Social security rate is 24.5%. And this is divided by social security rate for companies and so for employees. So I think that this is the same system also in your country. I want to mention some of the main key sectors of Albania. Patricia mentioned them, but maybe I have another view on giving a description of the sector. So the main sector of tourism, manufacture, energy, agriculture, and ICT in BPO. And tourism, some segment of the tourism sector developed are beach resort, natural tourism, health tourism, and the business and the conference tourism or MICE tourism as it's called. Concerning manufacture, Patricia also mentioned it's textile and garment, is footwear, automotive is recently developed, and also plastic sector. Concerning energy, it is hydropower, solar, wind, petroleum and gas, and biomass is potential as well. In agriculture, it developed agro-processing, farm development, and collective warehouse for the vegetables and fruits. And also in ICT, but also in business process outsourcing. As you know, that Albania is a small market, and so most of the companies are working on business process outsourcing for international companies. Concerning tourism, we have contribution of tourism to employment is something like 22%, is a positive growth rate. It is one of the trends. This sector has a positive growth trends. It covers 15% of the service sector, but in all the service sector, this tourism has somehow the most, that has the positive growth trends. It contributes 21.2% of GDP and also cover 11% of all economic activities in Albania. There are some tax and exemption in tourism sector. Tourism 6% is VAT in tourism accommodation and in agro-tourism, but only in case if you have a special staff, so at least you get the status for agro-tourism. And 0 is a tax on impact on infrastructure and tax on building. These exemptions are only for accommodation facilities such that can be 4- and 5-star hotels with special status, and can be the holder of the internationally recognized and registered trademark. And these are exempted from corporate income tax for the period of 10 years. To those structures which receive this special status until December 2024, starting from the commencement of the activity, but no later than 3 years after they receive this special status. Also, the tax on impact in infrastructure are also the investment of the entities who carry out hosting activities certified as agro-tourism according to the legislation in force in field on tourism. And also the tax on building is 0%. I want to mention something about the strategic investment status. Albania has a law on strategic investment. As far as I know, there is one structure under the office of Prime Minister, and you have to follow. Let's say the companies have to follow a special procedure on that. And but to receive this status, you have to have a €5 million investment. And that is assisted status, as I understand. This is something to do with follow-up during the investment, and also aftercare during the investment, and special status you get if you are investing more than €50 million. Concerning the priorities area in tourism development, I just wanted to mention that Albania, let's say, have this priority area developed: Albanian Alps, south coastline with combination with mountains, marinas and ports that want to be developed, and Tirana also will be still considered a business and a culture point. So I have put if I do not share this, but The tourism development priority areas are in the western part of Albania, and you know the map of Albania that is like the bottom, you know, and in the northern part is developed the natural region. The second level is economic region, so it's considered developed as economic region. The third part is agricultural region that has to do with most because it's the agricultural land, arable land is in this part, and also the southern part is beach and cultural region. These are the priority region. What is called the development priority region in Albania? There are some regional and local area of local government that needs special support in order to develop the economy, to enhance employment, improve living conditions, efficient use of public resources and infrastructure. In this case, the state can take the role of the developer involved in various forms of partnership. This state-owned real estate that can be part of the local municipalities, let's say they could become under the administration of the Ministry of Tourism. And this area can be, let's say, a disposal for building accommodation facilities and other tourist structure. And the timeline for the availability of this is 99 years. So to use that, you can get the contract for 99 years to use these places. About the second sector is manufacture. So some key factor of manufacture, the main sectors are, as I mentioned before, is textile, footwear, automotive, and plastic. They contribute 5.7% to GDP, to employment 10.9%, to total export 39.6%, and during the development of manufacture, there is increased the import of machinery, and also in Albania now you can find also the staff and other business with 20 years experience in manufacturing sector. Some incentive. The government has prepared a package since 2016 for textile and food industry, given by some strong stimulus for the fashion industry. There are also some symbolic tariff of €1 leasing contracts when you are renting a government property, but that is in the area that are not underdeveloped area or remote area. For if you are developing a manufacturing activity with investment level of 2.4 million and inward processing of goods, which provide not less than 50 jobs. You can find instant reimbursement for VAT in case of taxpayer with zero risk, exemption of VAT in import of machinery, different financing. There are some professional for job training. Also, there have been some programs that supported the sector for social security, to support on social security for the new employees, facilitation custom procedures, simplification procedure on employment and social security, and 5% rate of corporate income tax for legal person with economic activities in automotive industry, because this is, as I mentioned, it is a new sector now, this automotive industry that is starting to be developed. Regarding the energy now, as I mentioned, that Albania, as you know, maybe you know, that is one of the countries that produce most clean energy. We have decided, the government has decided 42% to develop the renewable energy sources. There are some incentive from government support and facilitation on that. Also, the hydropower, Albania has still potential for hydropower energy because of the high inflow of Albanian rivers, with more than 1,000 meter cube per second, water flow of river 40 billion meter cube. In total, installed capacity is 1,466 megawatt, and also potential annual power power production of 16 terawatt per hour. Also, wind energy is potential here. 2-3% of the territory is hilly and mountainous. Also, the coastline is the direction of north-south, and they have potential for development wind energy. Also, the overall potential of aeolic energy that may be produced through this aeolic parks is estimated to 200 million watts. And in next 5, the government aims to generate 5% of the total electricity from the wind resources. Solar energy also, you know, in Albania there are 300 days with sunshine days per year. So this is very high potential for development of the solar energy. Again, concerning petroleum and gas. And gas has also Albania has a significant volume of oil reserve, producing more than 1.4 million tons per year. But there are some international companies that exploring the land, also the sea. Albanian oil, gas, and the byproducts market is free, open, and liberalized market. Concerning, there are also some sectoral incentive here of long-term agreement, 15 years for electricity produced from plants of the capacity 15 megawatt and over. There are some exemption for custom duties and VAT for manufacturing or the mounting of the solar panel system for hot water production. I do not want to mention everything that I have prepared in this presentation, because maybe I am too long. Maybe I passed the time that I was supposed to. Also for mining, I want to mention that we have the chromium ore and copper. Some strategic investment procedure also for energy, hydrocarbon, and mining is that the value of investment of 30 million euro investment. You are, as investor, can be assisted by the certain structure, certain government structure, and for special status you get when you invest 15 million euro. Also agriculture, as I mentioned, that as also Patricia mentioned, that there are a typical Mediterranean climate, so there are possibilities to develop different kind of agriculture and also of agricultural product. And Albania is exporting agricultural product, but should be more strong given to agro processing. So we have to export more value added.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you try again to share your screen? Maybe it's working.
I don't know.
Must be a green button below.
Me qila të share screen poshtë. Do shtypësh poshtë. Po do ta kish hapur më parë.
No, it's not.
May send this presentation to Marius.
Okay, I can send the presentation.
Okay.
Later on, because maybe I'm not. You are the host, so that's why I cannot share. Okay, concerning now, I want to mention something about the ICT sector. High internet penetration, also a high level of mobility phone penetration. 63% of the population has this 3G and 4G broadband access. 50% of families have fixed broadband access. 98.5% of total enterprises use computer for work purposes in 2021. And 100% of the companies that have more than 250 employees, they use always internet. 45% of the companies have website. 92.8% of the enterprises use the website for publish the catalog and price list. 28 used to receive order reservation or online booking, and 42 of enterprises use it for reference in their social media and profile. I have a graph of the online sales by percentage by website and application, and from this graphic I've seen that accommodation and food service activity use more to make the online sales, and also information and communication are these two both sectors that use the sales through online. For ICT sector, I can say that 35,000 persons are employed in this sector, and they generate 130 million euro, and the corporate income tax in software production development is 5%. Also in Albania, you can find the availability of the skilled workers, skills in foreign language. They are maybe something like 40% of the population are able to use one foreign language, and to the younger 50, like 60% of the population, they know at least one of the foreign language. This is my presentation, what I prepared. So in case you have any questions, I can answer. Thank you.
We thank you all. Apparently, you already have a question on the chat. It says, it's from Mr. Ovidiu Diaconu. He is asking you, how does it look, the legislation of environment protection, I guess, yeah, air pollution? What companies need to comply, and how strong is it enforced?
Okay, I am not so much. I do not know so much concerning the environment because I'm not expert on that. But anyway, I can say that for everything you have to get permission, an environmental permission when that is a case of investment. So you have to prepare the environmental impact assessment, and this is the report when you make an investment, and then you have to then let's say you have to get a permission for environmental impact or something like this. But I'm not. I cannot give you specific answer on that for details because, as I said, I'm not specialist on that.
Oh, Mrs. Conde is obviously a specialist to the macro level. We have received so many sectorial figures, and we appreciate that. So no worries about the fact that the time was expanded. It's interesting for us, and we thank you very much about that. I'm expecting that Mr. Ilir Rambetti to have probably more micro approaches, given the fact that he's a specialist in entrepreneurship, in small and medium business, and of course regional development. So, dear Mr. Director, I invite you to address to us.
Thank you, Mr. Tudor. It's a pleasure. In fact, I have prepared a presentation. I try to share the screen if you see it. Is it?
Yeah, we confirm you that it's.
You can see it. Huh?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, so my presentation is, let's say, to be complementary with what Melida has prepared, because we talked each other, and of course. Supporting data, I can give some perspectives in terms of why to invest in Albania and what are some potential to see in 3 dimensions, in economic point of view, political and cultural. So for anything that it's to be repeated, I will skip it and go to the next point. So we have a very good geographic location relative to European Union. And as you see the map, we have all the things kind of coastal line, mountains, and tourism potential, and our businesses are adapting very fast because of our labor force and the young people that are working abroad and bringing their experiences. And still we have, let's say, comparably low wage levels for the companies that are coming and invest in Albania, they can have some intensity of using labor force. FDIs have increased, and we have, as Patricia and Lida mentioned, we have, let's say, FDIs in the ratio of some $1 billion for the 2020. And we have close cooperation with financial institutions, and we are compatibility with European legislation and to respect all the standards based on market-oriented economy. As Lida mentioned, tourism and agro are promising sectors, like an engine for Albania to go in Europe, because we do export, and not only tourists, but we have incoming, but it's also agricultural products. So for the FDIs, you see the figures. I cannot go to each year, but we have an increase, smooth increase. Now, how to see advantages in investing in Albania? Because we are considering Albania as a regional market, and we are not competing, but cooperating with the neighbor countries. And we see focus even with Romania, because of our history. Albanians are there present in Bucharest and doing some connection. So we have ties with Romania. So an investor that can come in Albania might have easy access if he is allocating his investment in Albania, because we have a very proximity and we can reach all major ports in a matter of hours. Transportation costs are, again, lower, because we use this combination of with ferry going in from Durrës in main ports in Italy, etc. But as through the roads, we have, let's say, some connectivity with regional network roads. And for investors that can come in Albania for small orders, they can have faster delivery of inputs and goods, and can use the just-in-time manufacturing methodology, where inventories can be kept in minimum. So we can realize in a matter of a week, let's say, small orders, and re-export or export in EU very, very fast. And we have potential to reach new markets because we are focused on this. And for the point second is trade preferences granted to Albania by the EU. So we have for exports from Albania to EU are subject of 0.5% as a custom duties. And Albania has, let's say, some very flexible trade policies, and has some potential, and we are using this opportunity. So as a candidate country, and we are looking now to open the negotiation with the European Union, we have fulfilled the duties and the requirements and based on acquis communautaire. So any investor that can come in Albania will find the legislation similar to his own country. This is due to all the duties that we have to fulfill and to be ready for entering in Europe officially. As an export-oriented trade policy, of course, we do have, because we are exempted from the VAT and custom duties for imports and export purposes, companies that can invest in Albania. Albania has, meanwhile, some industrial parks and free trade zones where foreign investors can benefit from the low taxes and the good fiscal regime. So, as you know, all of us, in Balkan area, we are respecting these free trade agreements. We are enforced, let's say, and we have zero tariffs and zero taxes exporting, so no borders between us, in neighbor countries. And soon we will be part of Regional Transport Observatory and Energy Community, which Lida mentioned our potentials. Now, regarding some economic point of view, my perspective, I see some disadvantages compared to potential ones, that we still are a small country market, and even when taking in consideration the regional integration, because we don't have economy of scales, we have small enterprises that 95% are run by small medium enterprises, the activities. Yeah. and we don't have exactly the infrastructure where it was, developed further compared to some new countries, but we do try to reach and to modernize, and we have good environment infrastructure, but nevertheless, it's not, again, the best one. So we don't have big industries and clusters of downstream or upstream producer as in you, but the labor force is relatively good. It's not so expensive, but if managers that coming and work in Albania, they could not for sure have the same salaries that are being paid in EU, but nevertheless, the bits are going up, and so don't take it as a disadvantage. Now, regarding the other dimension, political point of view, we have strong ties with the EU in terms of integration. Foreign investors for sure are sensitive because of this process in Albania, and we have a stable situation and friendly business climate. And regarding the political movements, etc., we are a country that deal as a capitalist one, and we have democracy, and we deal based on the rules in market economy and gradually improving, and we have fulfilled a lot of requirements by EU to be present in Europe officially. And let's say as a disadvantage, I see, I don't know that Patricia mentioned it, but as it happened always, there is a political conflict among parties that are the Democratic and Socialists, which are in power one or another, but now we have Socialist Party that is running from more than 12 years, which is anyhow. In terms of cultural point of view that I would like to see in perspective, we have a labor force which is familiar with Western style. Those of Albanians are working a lot in Europe, and they bring their experience, culture of work, and they try to come as a diaspora and opening businesses. But being in Europe, because we have more than a million Albanians working in Europe, we have labor force that knows their languages. When investors come, they can find easily intermediaries to make easy entrance in Albania because of this cultural ties, and translated or converted in improved business relations. And every year, a lot of Albanians are studying abroad. I know that in Romania, as well as a Albanian community of students that are called, how it's called, group of Albanians, because of some links, are Romanians that are called. And they are there because we know people that are studying there, they have good impressions of your university and the level of, exactly like in other countries of Europe. And so, as a disadvantage in cultural point of view, I can put it lack of work ethics. It's not in the level of as in you, but again, it's promising and improving day by day. So I try to put to get some faster data in the last minutes, and I found that Romania exports in Albania roughly 34 million, which compared to imports as overall imports of Albania is kind of 5%, because we do import 600 million euros so far. And looking at the products that are exported from EU, Albania in Romania, at least I mentioned a lot, but articles in appear in furniture. I put it even the figures, 5 million in furniture, lighting, science, and prefabricated. In vegetables, the other products, 4.7 million. In flour and cereal, etc., 2.1, and the rest is in 10 million is different from. It was a lot of lists which I couldn't identify some important span. This is in short, and I try to be complementary with the presentation of Elida to see in this perspective. So I'm short. Thank you very much for your listening.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So indeed, complementary, as we expected somehow. Now let's see if we have some questions from our colleagues regarding the presentation from Albania. As a matter of fact, free if you consider also Mrs. Raduț, if you have some specific interventions, or we will respect the agenda as it is proposed and have a final discussion after we introduce our colleague from Podgorica. I'm looking here, so we have
Yes,
we
I'm
have
here. Hi.
Mrs. Darida Vandic. Thank you. So yeah, I'm inviting you for the intervention, please. The microphone.
Thank you for inviting us to participate at this conference and present our work. Could you please allow me to share the screen, because I don't have the possibilities. You need to make me host so I can share the screen for the presentation.
Please try now.
Yeah, Catalina, it should work, right?
Yes, but
I don't have the option to share.
You are the host now, even the host.
Yeah, but I don't see anywhere the share screen button. I can send I can send you the presentation, and then you can maybe Marcus share it on your screen.
Yep.
Because I don't have I will send you the link. So okay, can you share this, please?
You sent it to Catalina?
No, to you, to Marius.
To Marius. Okay, Marius.
Okay.
Marius, you do have it? I guess we have several Marius in our group. So it's Marius Alexa.
No,
Marius Alexa.
You sent me a wrong link. It's a link a bit for this conference. So.
Sorry. Wait. What about now?
I need access now. Please
Yeah.
allow me.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you. Okay, so today I'm going to present you our cluster, which is the first cluster of ICT companies in Montenegro, a cluster for information technologies, innovation, education, design, and technology development in Montenegro that was established last year in March. So we exist for just slightly bit more than 1 year, and we were founded by the most successful IT companies in Montenegro. They brought their forces together in order to transform the IT sector in Montenegro and to contribute to the digital transformation of not only the public sector but the whole economy, and to improve the ICT ecosystem that is necessary for the digital innovation in industry and education. You can jump to the third slide. Yeah. So the things that brought us together are that in Montenegro didn't exist an organized association of IT companies that can work together in order to lobby for the development of the IT sector with the government and other important stakeholders. Now with our companies, we're constantly working with the government to try to change some legal documents and legal laws and policy papers in order to facilitate the business of the IT in our country. That was the first goal. The second main goal was education, because we have necessities for new staff in IT, new IT professionals, and we wanted to prevent the brain drain of the existing IT staff. So one of our main goals is to provide the necessary education in IT for new and for the existing staff. The third goal is internationalization, because we want to help our IT companies to go to global markets. So we have a lot of projects that are aimed at helping our IT companies to join forces, to participate at global tenders, and not only tenders, but to go abroad and connect with international stakeholders and IT companies to create joint services and projects. We also want to strengthen the innovation and competitiveness potential of our cluster members, with the focus on the startup ecosystem, because the startup ecosystem here in Montenegro is underdeveloped. So we have already made some steps in order to help the growth of the startup ecosystem in Montenegro. And as I mentioned before, one of the main focuses is also digital transformation. We're helping the government to booster their initiatives in digital transformation. And the final goal that we're really proud of is the CSR, corporate social responsibility, because we have also founded a foundation which has a humanitarian character, but it will be focused to help children and areas who don't have capacities to develop in IT. So we have already had some actions to buy computers for some school, for some families, and we will be focused on providing not only education, but also IT equipment for those in need. So we have a collaboration on four key levels. That is the main value of our cluster, is to cooperate with academic sector, public institution, business community, and civic sector. So that is something that didn't exist before in Montenegro, and that is very helpful for the whole IT community and IT stakeholders, that we are the main point that connects all these dots in Montenegro. And you can go to the next slide. We have made some partnerships with all the main universities in Montenegro, with all the main ministries that are working with innovation and economic development, with the capital city, with the central bank, with some major NGOs and innovative organizations, not only from Montenegro, but the whole region, with Serbia, Macedonia, Kosovo, Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina. And we also have good collaboration with international organizations here in Montenegro, with the UNDP, UNICEF, British Council, and the Embassy of America. The next slide, we have, this is just the presentation for this year. We have participated and been accepted as members of various committees and councils that are working on digital transformation by the Union of Employers of Montenegro, UNICEF, the Ministry of Public Administration, Ministry of Economic Development, Chamber of Commerce of Montenegro, and Capital City Podgorica. So we have memberships in working and professional bodies that are working towards the digital transformation of our country. And in the last year, we also had some, I highlighted here on the next slide, some major projects that we had with with the government. So with the Ministry of Economic Development, we created a web portal for buying touristic vouchers that one of our cluster members actually gave as a present to the Ministry of Economic Development. And in cooperation with the Ministry of Public Administration and Digital Transformation, we also provided some softwares and help in the electronic fiscalization for the companies that are having non-cash payments. That was also provided by 3 of our members, Codeos Data Design and Logate. And the next slide, we also signed a memorandum of cooperation with the Central Bank of Montenegro. And last year we organized the first FinTech hackathon in Montenegro and a conference. And we also plan to do it this year as well. And in cooperation with the capital city Podgorica, we also signed a memorandum of cooperation, and we organized a startup competition where the winners of the startup competition had the opportunity to go to the most famous web summit in Lisbon and present their projects there. One of our first projects that we are also very proud of, which is aligned with the main goal we have, and that is education. We organized a big practice for high school students together with the electrotechnical school Vasoli Grudic from Podgorica, and this was a very successful project that was attended by 60 students, and they had internships in 13 of our member companies, and the best team received a scholarship for the course at famous Logate Academy here in Montenegro, and they also had the opportunity to work in our member companies. We also participated in wrote many projects, and these few are some that are really important. We had a great support from the German NGO HELP. They provided us with funding so that we can kick off with the Cortex Academy and implement all that we envisaged for the start of the Cortex Academy, and their support is now also in the implementation phase. And they also supported a mini study that we did for the agricultural sector, because the plan of ICT sector is also to see what are the needs and to map the needs and possibilities to use IT in all other sectors in Montenegro. The second project that we won last year was from the Regional Challenge Fund. Maybe you have heard it. It is present in the whole Balkans. It's from the Union of Chamber of Economies from the countries of the Western Balkans. And we received a grant to the amount of €500,000 to help transform the electrotechnical school Vasoli Grudic Podgorica. And this year, that was last year, and this year we also wrote a concept notes for 2 other schools, for Nikšić and for the electrotechnical schools in Nikšić and Bilo Polje, so that we can also develop and transform those the sectors that are dealing with IT in those cities. We received 2 grants from the Ministry of Economic Development. One was to co-finance our cluster for the next 3 years, and the other one that we will start to implement by the end of this year is the internationalization and education, where we will organize trips of our cluster members to different countries around Europe. First, we will start with the region, then Europe, and then in the 3rd year, we're planning to go to the USA, so that they connect with IT communities in those countries. So in this way, we fulfill our second goal, our 3rd main goal, which is internationalization. We also received a grant from Norway for You, from the Norwegian government through UNOPS, and we are now in the process of realization. We will organize courses for upskilling the employees in the IT sector in our companies, in leadership, sales, project management, and finances. We can go on to the next slide. These are some. Cortex Academy is also one of our big projects that we have started in February this year. It was the first cycles of Academy. We had more than 1,000 applications from whole of Montenegro. We organized courses in 5 educational programs in the field of project management, programming, design, software testing, and marketing. And after they finish the online courses, they have the opportunities to go to do the practice in 13 companies, member of ICT Cortex. And the trainings were aimed at high school students and employees of cluster companies and individuals who want to reskill in the field of IT. So at the moment we have around 500 people participate currently and listening to Cortex Academy courses. Out of them are 200 high school students. In the next slide, these are some figures. We organized around 10 meetups and online. 3 were online events. The other 1 were live, to raise awareness about the importance of digital transformation and IT sector and IT education, and the FinTech conference that I have already mentioned before. On the next slide, there are some figures. We already started with some internationalization projects. So we had cluster missions to Milan, Valencia, and Brussels, where our companies had the opportunities to connect with some innovative organizations. And one of our companies also had the opportunity to participate in the startup competition and win a prize of 12,000 euros. And we also had the opportunity to participate at a field trip to Estonia and the Governance Academy to learn the best practices in digital transformation from Estonia. As I mentioned before, we were established 1 year ago, and we started with 10 companies. But today we have 29 members. So our IT cluster proved very successful, and there was a real need to have an association of this kind, so that IT companies can better achieve what they need and what they want, both from the civic sector, from the government, and from various international calls and projects. On the next slide, you can see here are listed all our companies, and in the next slide, here are some figures. What were the incomes of our companies in 2020 and in 2021? How it changed. In the next slide, you have also the profits, how changed, and in the next you can also show the next slide. This is the export. And this is the number of employees that it jumped. So we believe that the membership in IT Cortex really, and all the projects and possibilities that connected the IT companies, helped boost all the figures of IT companies compared to last year. So these are some projects that we are working on and that are awaiting for us in this year. We are planning to create Cortex Media, which will be a portal for news and from technologies in Montenegro, with the podcast and the TV show. We have some negotiation with the local TV here. They will give us some media space to raise awareness about the importance of IT and digital skills for the public in Montenegro. And one thing that we also started could you go back to the previous slide, please. It's the professional bodies. We organized a professional body for HR and education and internationalization, because from different IT companies, we brought professionals in this field, and they now work together to do some major projects to affect the community in these fields. The next big project that we have extensive negotiations with the government and with the capital city of Podgorica. We initiated a big housing project for IT professionals that we will give 120 families the opportunity to buy apartments for lower than it is on the price market, in order to prevent them. That is another way to prevent the brain drain and to keep the IT professionals in Montenegro. And the third major thing that we are working on is we want to make the IT sector one of the strategic development industry in Montenegro, because now, according to the smart specialization strategy of Montenegro, IT sector is a horizontal economic branch, and we want to make it vertical because we deem it is really important to have a focus on the development of IT industry in Montenegro. And that's in a nutshell what we've been doing and what we plan to do. We believe that in Montenegro there are great possibilities for the development of IT and for connecting with Romania and all other regional IT companies. And we believe also that we are an outsourcing haven, because you have really many reasons why Montenegro is a smart option for IT companies to come to Montenegro, because we have reduced costs, we have really quality of services and good IT professionals, which are very collaborative, that have proficiency in English language and high work ethic. That is like something like in Albania we're working on. And we think that in terms of economics and political, we are a pretty stable and safe country to work with. And thank you for your attention.
We thank you also for the information, for sharing with us. In a nutshell, you said, so probably the extended version is even more impressive.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing with us this good practice example. Definitely a good practice example of clustering IT companies and being involved in so many types of activities. So I'm inviting our colleagues from the audience. The audience consists in representatives of business environment, mainly from northeast area of Romania, with a focus on Iași county. Iași being one of the most important growth pole in Romania on the eastern frontier. So probably there are some colleagues that have some punctual intervention maybe they want to address.
I can share my contact email with everyone on chat, so they can write to me if they have some questions or they want to organize a meeting with our companies or some of.
Yeah, this is also a very good option, I guess. Since business people used to prefer direct bilateral contacts. That's true.
Yes.
It's nothing that we have experienced in many conferences and forums. I see. Anyway, for us, it's a new frontier. So we are very grateful for the fact that you accepted to be the guest of Marius Alexa and his program dedicated to the Western Balkans. Marius is going to be next week in all the countries from the Western Balkans that already share the status of candidate countries, and that became important, a NATO membership also, that are your countries, Albania, Montenegro, and North Macedonia. are hoping he's going to have a great program out there. Marius, do you want to share with us something about your program next week?
We will start our journey from North Macedonia. We will have some meetings there. After that, we'll go to Montenegro. Unfortunately, we won't be able to participate, to attend to your IT forum on 27, but we hope to organize a Romanian Montenegrin business forum on 26. And also, I would like to share our intentions to sign a memorandum of understanding between Iconic cluster from Iași, Romania, with Cortex IT cluster from Podgorica. And after that, we'll travel to next day. We'll travel to Tirana, where we'll reconnect with Ilir and his colleagues. And the last forum will be in Skopje again on 30th of May, where we will gather a lot of companies from North Macedonia to share with them our projects and our intentions to develop together any other programs. So to make a last remarks in this conference, I would like to say that we still have some available spots, seats in our bus who will travel in that area. And if any entrepreneur from Romania or any organization is interested in our trade mission, we can be contacted very easily. Another option is to travel directly to any forum to Tirana or Podgorica or Skopje for 1 or 2 days. Our journey is for 8 days. So in 8 days, we'll try to discover 3 countries, 3 wonderful people, and to understand better what are Western Balkans and what are the opportunities for us. In the end, I would like to thank you all for being here in this conference. Also to Mr. Professor Gigi for conducting this event.
That is reassuring you about the availability of the Center for Balkan Studies to be involved in creating ties from both directions. You can rely on us. We have already also been in the area, and we keep on going and looking for opportunities to interconnect our spaces that, once again, I must say, I really think have a good potential of cooperation.
In the end, I would like to say to our guests, see you soon. To Romanian companies, look at us, and if you want something, if someone is interested to come, let's join us. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Marius. You are welcome.
Thank you everyone.
See you soon.
Very
Bye.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.